see vanity, not the lives lost. Can't be focused on a life that's hopeless. Out there pumping, not knowing the Lord will kill you for that hocus pocus. Used to roll with niggas that cook dope with weaponry. Same ones claim they love you. I had your life in jeopardy. And I know my mother wants success for me. But that G should take a girl straight to ecstasy. Remember running with bruh, even though we did the wrong thing. My life would've been a lot different if I fell up under Rob's wing. Was too sincere for a wicked game. Shame the Lord's name. Now we afflicted with pain. All I ever wanted was to be respected by stand-up niggas, not knowing that them handcuffs custom made to fit. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. I ain't lying, I was close to dying. Knew I wanted to live, but I wasn't trying. I was defiant, not knowing that this ain't how we live. This just how they design it. Cause when you in them streets, you get more endemic. They don't tell you gonna be on papers and on restrictions. My father said a hard head to make a soft ass. I didn't care, I wanted fear when I walked past. In a place where a black man's blood is cheap. I thank the Lord for the day I was on 8th Street. Pissing in the cup, back and forth to court. From the DC school, I swear it felt like I cried on that fucking porch. The Lord said, my sheep, they ain't hear my voice. Asked me why I'm UPK, I told them I ain't have a choice. They said God ain't 50-50 and what's gonna come to pass. The Lord called me out the world and I started running fast. All I wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. Go ahead. All I wanted was to be a gangster. Isupk until it hit the fan. I want power and a throne, nigga, fuck them grams. All I wanted was to be a gangster, but I was real as a righteous man. And now got the upper hand, gotta promote this brand. Correct whole multitudes until they all understand. If I can't get that crown, Lord, then put me in the hands of someone more mighty, make me this hit man. Reminiscing on the pain that was felt. Shit, I was in the jam. Shit, I needed help. But Swan was locked up and the judge put man on the shelf. Had me crying cause it felt like I was left by myself. All I wanted was to impress niggas with my grinding. Now I ain't trying to prove shit to nobody but Muhammad. Cause most these niggas lie, pump smoke. One time for the most high, he made me a cutthroat. Cause all I ever wanted was to smash my opponents. Stacking cash, not knowing it wouldn't last. Then God, I hope you accept my atonement. Cause all I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a First breath I took, a life too surreal. Second breath I took was the pivot and strike, finish the kill. Influenced by Mike, with every sentence reveal, I won't pay back, fuck a dollar bill. Remain calm as the pressure build. Gotta endure until I let this pump whistle at my foes in memory of Emmett Till. I only live to do my master's will. Isupk, motherfucker. Ain't no cowards on this battlefield. Gone astray but made greater. In my return, left to my mistakes. Every error was a lesson learned. Now I don't move lest it get approved. Won't take a step till it get confirmed. Arm to take what was made for our sakes. March like a tank. One step will make the ground shake. My people sick in their head, Lord, let this truth spread like an outbreak and bring hell at them crackers can't escape. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. I want payback for the scars in the slave memoirs. Till Christ arrive, I can't let it slide. Ignore the lies, the only free will that's before your eyes. It's life or death, nigga, you decide. This heaven was made for me and my fellow. I patiently wait with my eyes on the sparrow, and I pull the trigger while my lips kiss the barrel. Before I ever let a white bitch do me like Othello. I want out this wicked life like Romello. By any means, this devil pulling strings like Geppetto. Lay hold on this brotherhood, I swear I never let go. And fuck that silver spoon, got too much love for the ghetto. Till the score settle, if need be, I die for the cause. Just to hear them angels applaud. And I'm true by every word I say, cause I know my victory on the way. You want it? Nigga, walk this way. This life may be hard, but I can't give up. I'm about to go hard and I won't give up. And could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so tough?
The truth about the Bible and keeping you updated on what's going on and what blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians should be doing in this hellhole we call America. You understand? For so many years, black people we've allowed ourselves to be led astray, to be victimized by our so-called black leaders and our slave masters and our religions. You understand? But through the truth of this Bible, we go into these records and we find out and study the mysteries of this Bible so that we can better understand what's going on in today's times, right? And in finding that out, we find out that in today's time, we are actually living the biblical prophecies that were written thousands of years ago by the prophets of old. You understand? And because of that, we're able to see who are the people that are ruling over us. You understand? Who is this man that we call the so-called white man? Who is he according to the Bible? Where did he come from? You understand? Who is his ancestors? What did the countenance of his people, and what do they do? Who is the leaders of our people? Who is your Al Sharpton, your Malcolm X? You understand? Your Jesse Jackson, your MLK. Who are these peoples and how do they correlate to the Bible? And you understand, what do they do for our people, and who are they, and who do they resemble from the times of old? You understand? All of these questions have an answer, but the problem is that these questions have never been asked before. You understand? We've never asked, really, is Martin Luther King the best thing for black people? That's right. We never really, you understand, dissected his movement, his peaceful protest. We never questioned where he got it from. You understand? We allowed Martin Luther King to walk around here with a Bible in his hand and his heart in his other, and to walk around here and teach something as if it came out of the Bible, but it did not. You understand? And today, in today's class, we're going to go into what Martin Luther King did and how that directly influenced, if not made happen single-handedly, the problems and the conditions that we're in today. You understand? And before I go there, we're going to go to Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1, if I could. Baba Kushah. No sweat. Again, if anybody got any questions online, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, just type it into the chat.
Concept. Most high Christ right there. Swab. Okay. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
What is this not saying, right? The scripture right here is saying, gather together, O nation not desired. Yea, gather together. What is it not saying, right? For time's sake, I get to you. Oh, you got it?
I was going to say, it's not saying to gather with other nations.
Right. It's not, this scripture is not telling us to gather with other nations. It's not telling us to conjoin ourselves with the Asian or conjoin ourselves with the East Indian or our oppressor. This scripture is completely telling us to stay separated and to gather with each other. You understand? I seen on Facebook, not on Facebook, on Twitter today, Salaki, actually a woman I used to deal with in the world of mine who is battling a heap of Mexicans and Puerto Ricans and Issachaриtes, biblically, right? And she's battling them because she is going on Twitter and she's taking the stance that Mexicans are being brought into America. I think Joe Biden's about to allow some odd number of illegal Mexicans to get citizenship or whatever. But she is taking the stance that because they are allowing those illegal immigrants or Mexicans or aliens to come over here and get citizenship, then those Mexicans will now steal the jobs of blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. That it'll make our economics go bad. You understand? You got to be a fool to say anything like that. That's right. You've got to be a hateful fool to ever blame your brothers for coming over here and working to try to make a minimum wage. Those Mexicans, let me tell you something. Those Mexicans coming across the border, they over here working for 10 cents an hour. That's right. And in the hot sun. You understand? You couldn't pay me enough to do the jobs that they do. That's right. So whose jobs are they stealing? Right. Working out in them orange fields and working in them fields and picking up all that, whatever they doing out there in that hot sun. I couldn't do it. You understand? But so many of us, we love to push the agenda that our oppressor gives us. That's right. You understand? And we take it and we run with it. And so we don't have any compassion on our brothers, the Mexicans. We don't have any compassion on our brothers and sisters, the Native American Indians. All we can have is compassion for ourselves and for our slave master. That's right. And because those Mexicans coming over here takes jobs away from slave masters, which it really doesn't. You understand? What it does is that it gives the companies and corporations that's in power, it makes them to be more in power. That's How do you know? Because you go back to slavery. Right. You look at slavery. Why did the other nations have a problem with slavery in America? Is it because they loved black people so much? Is it because they was just so appalled at slavery and how we're being treated over here in America? Or was it financial? Was it because America was going to become a superpower? Right. Because they were getting rich off of free labor. So it's the same thing it's the same propaganda that they push with the Mexicans. It has nothing to do with a job. Right. You understand? The white people, our oppressors who is pushing us this nonsense, they are in seats and they hold jobs that those Mexicans will never come from Mexico and take. That's right. They'll never come from Mexico, living in Mexico for 46 years, come across the border and then become a governor. Right. Or a state senator. They'll never become a city mayor. It won't happen. But these are the people who was pushing this propaganda on us so that we'll vote against it. Right. So that we'll vote for the Mexicans not to get that because we'll lose our jobs. Right. When you don't realize that we don't have jobs to begin with. That's right. You understand? We don't have anything now. We're living in the ghettos now. What do you think? What are we so afraid of? Tabawan, what are we so scared of to allow the Mexicans to come into this country? What do we think we're gonna live in the ghettos now? Is that what's gonna happen? We gonna say Mexicans gonna come and we gonna have to live in the projects. Right. We gonna have to be poor for once in our life. God forbid. You know, God forbid that you're poor. We've been poor. That's right. You understand? We've been poor here in America, and it's not because of the Mexicans. It's not because of the Native American Indians. You understand? And so this scripture is telling us to get rid of that nonsense, get rid of that ideology and that BS. You understand? About Mexicans getting taking the jobs away from us. Those are our brothers, man.
Damn
and
right.
they should come in here, and each and every last single one of them should come into the ISUPK and learn how to stand against that oppressor who's trying to keep them out of their own land in the first place.
Damn right.
You understand?
That's right.
My brother had a question online. Sorry I missed the beginning. Why was MLK destroyed Black America? No sweat, brother. Just stick with me for 1 second. We're going to get to it. Right? All right, finish what you got.
God, the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Gather yourselves together.
Mm-hmm.
Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Oh, nation not desired. Hold on. This brother said MLK didn't destroy America. Jews destroyed America. Well, that's all too wild. But my topic is not about America. My topic is dealing with blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians only. You understand? I give a damn about America. America is destroying America. If you haven't noticed,
right. Damn right.
they are storming Capitol Hill as we speak. You understand? They are going up in there,
Right.
and they are fighting against each other. I give a damn about that. Listen, they started storming Capitol Hill. Well, I turned off Call of Duty and turned on the news for one time in my
Right.
life. I turned off Call of Duty. I was playing Warzone. I got the news. They storming Capitol Hill. Hold on. I don't even got cable.
Right.
I don't even got cable. Look, this is exactly what I did. I went on YouTube. I clicked CNN. I ain't never did this before.
Right.
I clicked CNN. And I pulled me up something like that.
That's
you
right.
understand? A nice one too.
Damn right.
And I kicked my feet up and I kept staying in tune. I like, yo, I hope they start shooting. I hope they start looting and robbing up in there.
Right.
You understand why? Because they ain't got nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
That's right.
It ain't got nothing to do with blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians.
Right.
America is America. You understand? That is our captive. But you understand? Read what you got again.
God. The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Gather yourselves together.
Uh-huh.
Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
This ain't talking about America. This is talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Keep
Right.
going.
Verse 2.
Uh-huh.
Before the decree bring forth,
Uh-huh.
before the day pass as the chaff.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to say this one more time for you knuckleheads on the chat. I don't know if you simple or slow. Government ruined America. I'm not talking about America. This topic has nothing to do with America. America can go to hell.
Right.
You understand? I'm not talking about America. I'm not talking about Africa. Nor am I talking about China. So you saying anything about America means nothing to me. You understand? So pay attention or stop making comments about goddamn America. That's not what we're talking about.
Right.
All right? Salaki, brother. Keep going.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 2. Before the decree bring forth,
Uh-huh.
before the day pass as the chaff,
Uh-huh.
before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you,
Mm-hmm.
before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
No sweat. No sweat. All right? Keep going.
Verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth.
Seek ye who?
Seek ye the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
all ye meek of the earth.
Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth. What's that mean? What does it mean that the Lord is telling us to seek him? All ye meek of the earth. This is coming out the Bible. It's the same Bible that you read every day. Well, I don't know if you read it, but you damn sure sing and dance over in the Christian church every Sunday. You understand? But this is the same Bible. This scripture is saying, seek ye the Lord. What is that talking about? You understand? No sweat. Like I said, I'll go into how MLK has destroyed, you understand, blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians. Just give me 1 second. I'm going into it right now, actually. Just pay attention. What does this mean? To seek the Lord. To seek the Lord. Stop on.
So, like, would it be to, to follow the Most High, follow the Lord's statutes and commandments?
For what though? What is it that we want as a people? Daba.
Amongst a lot of things, from protection.
Mm-hmm. That's part of it. That's part of
freedom.
it. Freedom. That's part of it. right? We look for protection, and we looked for freedom from where? We look for protection and freedom from Christianity.
Right.
We look for protection and for freedom from Islam, from Buddhism, from Pan-Africanism, from Set Society, from the Moorish community, from the Black Panthers, from Martin Luther King, from Malcolm X. We look for freedom and protection from all of them, right? But what else? What else does it mean? What is the basis of it all? To seek ye the Lord is to seek what?
It's like you said, the truth.
The truth, right? But what does the truth give you?
Salakia, the truth. You know, the truth is the Isupk.
Mm-hmm.
It gives us our identity,
Mm-hmm.
brotherhood,
Mm-hmm.
our history, our culture, our language. It gives us.
Think more blanket term.
Okay.
If you're not in the truth, you're what?
Christian.
If you're a Christian, you're what? If you're not in here, you are
In the world.
And if you're in the world, you're what?
Dead.
So the truth gives you what?
Life.
And what do all brothers and sisters want?
To live.
To live.
Christ.
We all want to live,
Yeah,
right? We all look for Martin Luther King for life.
Right.
We all look for Martin Luther King to live peacefully, to live and to own things and to have a better life. Otherwise, we wouldn't have looked to Martin Luther King for anything. You understand? But we saw a problem in our community. We saw that the way that we were living was not good enough for what we wanted.
Right.
We wanted to what? Live more. We wanted to live more like our oppressor. We wanted to have better things and to have nicer things and have be able to go to whatever restaurant we want to go into and sit down and get a cheeseburger, and to be able to go to any water fountain and get water from any water fountain we want to go to, any hotel you want to go to, you want to be able to go to it, any car you want to be able to drive, any opportunity you want it to be able to go to it regardless of the color of your skin, regardless of your ethnicity. And so we look to Martin Luther King, which is our topic today. We look to him for that life. And what did he give us? What did he not give us that the Lord told us to do? Where did Martin Luther King fail? Why is Christianity the devil's religion? I'll answer that question after I'm done with this topic. Just remember to remind me that question. Y'all chats, I'm letting you know right now, your chats on Twitter, they come up and then they disappear, right? So if I miss something, just retype it again and post it again so I can see it. Anybody online in the questions, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, YouTube, so on, if you have any questions or if you have any comments, just type it in the chat. All right? But I'm asking online, what did Martin Luther King not give us? Remember what he did. Remember what Martin Luther King stood for. Martin Luther King Day was yesterday. You understand? There's a lot of Christians in here. It's a lot of black lovers up in here who love Martin Luther King. I've seen a lot of you post Martin Luther King things, right? You posted his picture. You posted happy birthday. You posted how much you were so in love with Martin Luther King and how much he did for us. Well, I'm asking you right now, you understand? Don't be a hypocrite for once in your life and tell me, what did Martin Luther King give us? You understand? What was his peaceful protest? What was what he did? His idea of how we should live our life. And then that should answer what he didn't give us. I'll give you a second before I give it to you. Hey, shalom, out. Sis said MLK was and I don't know if I'm saying if you're a sister or a brother, I'm gonna just go with brother, right? Brother said MLK was against violence, so he didn't condone the Stukely, Carmichaels, and Black Panthers. The Stokely. Carmichaels and Black Panthers. Martin Luther King did not condone violence. At least that's what he taught. He definitely was violent. And we'll go into that. You understand? No sweat, Stokely, whatever, no sweat. But on the forefront, Martin Luther King did not condone violence. He wanted to have peaceful protests. What else did he do? You understand? What else did Martin Luther King contribute to the civil rights movement? Anybody? Just throw it out there. Y'all love this is the crazy part about reality is that we love Martin Luther King to death. We love some Martin Luther King. Can't tell you nothing about him.
Right.
I guarantee I ask you, where did he die at? Nobody, I don't know. You understand? But we love him. What did he do? Ray Green, he wanted equality. Martin Luther King marched for what? Equality. He wanted equal rights for black people and white people to have the equal opportunity.
Right.
That's correct, right? What else? Is there anything else that Martin Luther King did? His whole movement. Martin Luther King put forward a liberal version of diversity. Okay. What else? Stop one.
His right-hand man was a homosexual. And
Okay.
while a lot of other people in the civil rights movement looked at that as like a bad thing, like, yo, we shouldn't deal with this dude, Martin Luther King kind of, you know what I'm saying, stood up for him. So he was down with homosexuals.
He would Martin Luther King definitely pushed for LGBT rights.
Right.
You understand? That's another thing. Now here we are. It's like we diving into the dark web now. They like, whoa, hold on, nigga. You trying to tell me Martin Luther King was for homosexuality? Yes, he was. He was for a lot of other things too. Just stick with me. We'll get into it. Right? You start doing some actual research. You go reading them FBI archives and them records that them FBI's and the Federal Bureau of Investigation has kept.
Right.
You understand? They got records that are still to this day unseen that will not be released until 2027. But because of the John F. Kennedy Act or whatever it's called, they allow some of those records to be revealed now.
Right.
You understand? And we have them. They're on internet, Google, whatever. You go type it in, right? But of course, we don't want to go look at the truth about MLK. We'd rather look at what America has pushed.
Right.
We rather look at he speak for equality. We rather look at he fought for freedom and for justice and for equal rights and equal opportunities and for black people and white people to hold hands and to sing kumbaya
Right.
and to sit in the same restaurants and love one another. That's what we rather look at. But here's the problem. Is there anything else Martin Luther King did? I'm trying to give you a chance to glorify him. You better give him a chance to give him something.
It's pretty much known fact as well that, you know, brother brought it out yesterday. Martin Luther King was a very wayward child.
Mm-hmm.
At some point during his childhood, he pushed his grandmother down the stairs in their home.
Good night.
You can look that up. That's something he did.
His brother is throwing the stones early. I'm trying to get a brother a chance to breathe. We trying to give him to admit his crimes. This nigga just throwing the stone. Fuck the hell with it. You get him out of here.
Right.
You understand? I just said, oh my bad. I've been missing all of this. Colorblind. MLK was the forefront of a coalition of white Jews. I give you MLK message was twisted and sanitized by a lot of value politicians, virtue singling. All of that, right? Okay. Now we're gonna get into it right now. The problem with Martin Luther King is that Martin Luther King is a product of a victor of a battle. You understand? Hold on one second. Let me let this Wi-Fi come back up. Right? I'm gonna say this one more time though, right? Follow me. Martin Luther King and his legacy is the product of a victor in battle. You understand? The history that we learn about Martin Luther King, first of all, what do we know about history? What should be commonly known about history? With all the history that we know, what should be known?
As pertaining to just like, you know, in general, like history repeats itself.
General history. History can repeat itself, but what else? When you look at the Babylonian Empire, when you look at the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, the Egyptian Empire, when you look at African empires, what do we know about history? I'll give you a second to take a guess.
that so-called blacks, we've always been on the bottom, second class, third class citizens, servitude, all throughout history, or through empires you just named.
Okay. What else? Stop on.
We know that history repeats itself.
History repeats itself, but what else? I give it to you, right? Oh, you want to take a shot? Go ahead.
Violence.
Violence is kind of close.
Okay.
Violence, right? Violence gets you what? Stop on.
Power.
Power gets you what?
Respect.
You close.
Respect.
Closer with power.
Influence.
Influence gets you what?
Oh, rulership.
Rulership gets you what? Power and rulership gets you what? Y'all going back and forth. Who gonna get it?
Get you the earth.
If you have the earth, then you have what?
Control.
Of what?
Everyone.
And what?
Money.
And what? If you rule the earth tomorrow, you have control of what?
People.
People. Okay, let me. I'm gonna try to not give it to you. Let me say killed. Right. I'm gonna try to not give it to you, but give it to you. Let's say in Durham, everybody got wiped out. Everybody's dead in Durham. There is not a single soul living in Durham, North Carolina, ever, and you're the only person. And you're the only survivor of Durham. What will the rest of the world come to you and ask?
Oh.
You got it?
They're going to... Oh. When you're in power, you have control of history.
You have control of what the history is. Right. When you have violence, when you win the war, you have control of what goes down in the book.
Right.
So you understand? So when knowing that, you have to keep that in the back of your mind whenever you're reading history. When you're looking at the Battle of Thermopylae and you're looking at the Persians like, oh, they're just so terrible, and King Xerxes and this, that, and the third, you have to keep in the back of your mind, well, who was this written by? When you're looking at Italian history, whatever history they got, you have to keep in the back of your mind, well, what, you understand? Like whoever they were fighting against, they had a vendetta. You look at the Jewish history. You see that the way that they talk about the Germans and how monstrous they were and how terrible people they were, well, it's because who wrote it? Right. The Jews wrote it. So when you look at history, you have to keep in mind that the people who won are the ones who was writing the history. So with that being said, we look at MLK. Martin Luther King is a product of a victor of a battle. Who was the battle against or by or taking place between?
During Martin Luther King time? Well, it was...
What was the battle during the Martin Luther King era?
Supposedly so-called civil rights. And it was whites and essentially black Hispanics, Native Americans.
Against who?
The so-called white man.
Right. So you had what you would call minorities, blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, who was battling against our oppressor, the so-called white man. You understand? The reason that Martin Luther King has its own day, that we commemorate his holiday, you understand, every year in January, is because Martin Luther King was a tool used by our oppressor to beat us.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
He was merely a weapon to destroy us. And check this. He said it himself.
That's right.
Somebody dropped the bombs. I need the little sound bar right here. I need the sound bar to go. Hey, look, I need the what's that one? It's like, what did he say? I need that one. I need that one too. Martin Luther King said it himself. You understand? Can we get the video up on
not on the OBS. They won't be able to see it on the YouTube.
They won't be able to see it.
Turn the camera up for that TV.
Can they hear it?
I can play it on here and get them to hear it. I can play it on my phone and just put my
Or to what microphone? To this one?
It don't matter. Any one of them.
Let me see if this is loud enough. One second. we're gonna go to what Martin Luther King said out his own mouth, right? And we'll see if this is loud. If not, then we'll have to pull it up. If not, just go to YouTube, type Martin Luther King Jr. My dream has turned into a nightmare. All right.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare.
Right there. You understand? I didn't notice. Well, Taiwan, do you think
They can hear
it sounds too wild? Mm-hmm. Okay, no, so we're going to rock it out right here then. I didn't know until yesterday that, you understand, that Martin Luther King openly admitted that everything that he had hoped for and everything that he had done and fought and marched for and got beat on and spit on and hosed on and sick dogs on, that everything he had done was pointless. I know that he said, this quote was, he led people to a burning house, but I never knew that it was on camera, on tape, bold-faced, that MLK is telling you that everything he's fought for was wrong. Everything he fought for didn't work. You understand? I'm gonna play this again. I'm gonna play it through.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, I'm not one to lose hope. I keep on hoping. I still have faith in the future. But I've had to analyze many things over the last few years, and I would say over the last few months. I've gone through a lot of soul-searching and agonizing moments. And I've come to see that we have many more difficult days ahead, and some of the old optimism was a little superficial, and now it must be tempered with a solid...
I got to play that again. I got to play that one more time. Hold on.
Was a little superficial, and now it must be tempered with a solid realism. And I think the realistic fact...
Martin Luther King is saying right here, he said that the dream that I had, and he's talking about that dream, that I have a dream speech. And he's saying that the dream that I had is really a nightmare. Right. And he said he's realizing now that after all this time, that the optimism that he had has to be tempered because reality is kicking in.
Right.
You understand? And what was the reality of it? The reality of it was that our oppressor was never going to conjoin himself to us to benefit us.
Right.
And that we were always going to be underneath him. Yeah, right. And that we were always going to be second-class citizens. And that our communities were always going to be worse. Right. That our buses will always be worse than theirs. And that our schools would always be worse than theirs. Right. And that our life would continue as is. And it would make their life better. You understand? So that's what he means by the optimism had to be tempered. You understand? Because Martin Luther King at one point, like many black leaders, he thought that he was doing black people a good justice. Right. He thought that he was doing black people a good thing by what he was doing. You understand? But Martin Luther King, the man that you love and that you've known for so long, is nothing more than an old fool.
Right.
He's nothing more than a fool. You understand? And I'll prove it 1 second. Tabawan, what you got?
So like I was going to say, what you're bringing out is so heavy because his own words condemn his actions from the beginning. Right. Because if you look at what he's saying here and also the things he said, people like to paint, like even the people commenting saying, oh, he wanted equal rights. Mm-hmm. That's a lie. Right. He did not just wanting equal rights or wanting us to have equal standing was not his goal. And he said it out of his own mouth. His goal was for us to join the oppressor. Exactly. To join white people. He said in the speech, I dream of little black boys holding hands with little white boys. He said black people need white people. He said it out of his own mouth, straight up 100%. Right. It wasn't about us rising to the occasion to be, where they are, but in our own way. Right. It was about us being with them. Right. And like you said, he came to realize, that's never going to happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's why his optimism had to be tempered. Right. Because he knew that before this, I think this was about 11 months before he died, before he was assassinated. Martin Luther King knew that what he was teaching was wrong. You understand? But the problem is that our oppressor who won that battle will continue to push what he taught forever. They'll continue to push peaceful protests. They'll continue to push the propaganda of what he taught. You understand? But what he taught was a fool. You understand? Give me Proverbs 14 and verse 12.
Hold on, concert.
My online said, I have no understanding of segregation, cause of religion, or race mad.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 12.
Uh-huh.
There is a way which seemeth right unto a man.
There is a way that seemeth right. You understand? The way that you live your life. The way that you the way that you think that you are, that you think that you're a good person. You think that you have good morality and you give good deeds. You think that God loves everyone. You think that we should have hope and mercy and faith in the saints of the angels of the day that's going to come and free everyone from sin and from hatred and going to bring pockets of loves and dandelions and candy canes, and no more hurricanes will tremble upon the earth and tornadoes will be no more a must. But if we have faith in the glory of God and love for white people and Africans and Chinese, then God will just love us all back. It seems right to you. That seems like it makes sense, doesn't it? That seems good. Make your heart warm. It could fill the room with love. Fill the room with happiness and laughter and just joyfulness. And it seems right. What Martin Luther King did, it seemed right. What Nat Turner did, it seemed wrong. It seemed bad. You understand? But what does scripture say again?
There is a way which seemeth right unto a man.
There is a way that seemeth right unto a man. Keep going.
But the end thereof are the ways of death.
But the end thereof are the ways of death. Hold that right there.
Ahead, and some of the old optimism was a little superficial, and now it must be tempered with a solid realism. And
read it again.
There is a way which seemeth right unto a man. But the end thereof are the ways of death.
But the end thereof are the ways of death. One more time. Hold on. Let's hear from out his mouth himself.
And some of the old optimism was a little superficial, and now it must be tempered with a solid realism. And I think
but the end of those ways is death. You understand?
That's right.
I asked you before, what did Martin Luther King give us? You said freedom. You said the fight for equality. You said the fight for equal rights. You said the fight for integration. You said the fight for the end of racism. You said all of the things that sounded right. It seemed right to us. But in the end, it was death. Why did it not work? Here's what you have to understand as blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. This is what you have to come to grips with. Thought one. Can you check the Facebook just in case? Oh, you got it on your phone? Okay, no sweat. Here's what you have to understand as blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians. What was wrong with Martin Luther King's movement? What was the problem with it? All right, no sweat. What was the issue with it? Anybody want to take a shot? Kawal?
I would say that he was trying to seek, acceptance and love and integration to a people that, haven't shown the same acceptance or love for them way prior to his father's time and his grandfather's time.
Right.
Second, I will also say that, it wasn't exclusive just to blacks, Hispanic, Native American Indians. He also included white people and not transgender at the time, but homosexuals and everybody else in this fight, in this plight. And it wasn't just solely exclusive to black folks, but we were the ones who needed the the help and the rights, or whatever you want to call it. We're the ones who needed that, not everybody else.
Right. But what was the problem with it? Remember, that is what seemed right to us. That's what he did. But what was the problem with what he did? Where did Martin Luther King get his peaceful protest from?
Oh.
Cool.
He got it from in East India, Gandhi.
Mahatma
Gandhi's
Gandhi,
whole,
right?
Gandhi's whole, logic on what was nonviolent and peaceful protest.
Gandhi or the East Indians were fighting against the British, right? Over taxes, or not over taxes, but over salt, because of course the British wanted the East Indians to buy the salt from them so that they can get money for selling them salt. But the East Indians wanted to produce their own salt so that they can cure their meat, so that they can have things that they needed salt for, so on and so forth. Well, one day Mahatma Gandhi decided that he was going to stage a march down to the coast, right, to the ocean. And Mahatma Gandhi knew that if he went to the ocean, that the British armies would be there to beat them with sticks, to spit on them, to sick dogs on them, to fight them, to keep them from getting to the ocean. Because if they got to the ocean, they would be able to get the salt water, which the British did not want them to get. And of course, Mahatma Gandhi made sure that the news was there and the camera crews and the newspapers and the journalists and everyone were there so that they could see what was going to happen, right? And of course, Mahatma Gandhi went and he marched to the ocean and they got beat. That's exactly what happened. They went and they got beat on by the British, and then eventually the press was so hard on the British that the British ended up losing control over the East India, right? And Mahatma Gandhi and his people became free. Mahatma Gandhi ended up becoming a leader of those people because of that peaceful protest. This is where Martin Luther King got his idea from peaceful protest from. This is exactly where he got it from, and he said it himself. Now, what is the problem with where he got his peaceful protest from?
The East Indians, they were hated. They didn't go into slavery. Mm-hmm. The East Indians weren't, hated so much, I would say, by those the people that was affecting them, afflicting them. Black folks here in America, I mean, my God, do we have to even talk about the history? Mm-hmm. We don't have the same plight. The East Indians and Negroes did not have the same fight. And they was not going to deal with us the same way, and it wouldn't be accepted the same way if the people saw that. But no one gives a damn about a Negro.
Right. It's just more simpler reason. More simpler than that. What was wrong with Martin Luther King's peaceful protest coming from Mahatma Gandhi? Not that it was a peaceful protest, but that it came from Mahatma Gandhi. Double one.
Salaki, basically, he was following someone else's culture. Like, that's our strength comes from the Bible, Most High.
Right.
Following after Mahatma Gandhi had nothing to do with us.
So put it in more simpler terms. Why did it not work?
Because if the Most High is not on our side, nothing's going to work.
So why didn't it work?
Because the Most High wasn't with Martin Luther King.
Why?
Because the Most High wasn't with Mahatma Gandhi.
You was on it just a second ago, right? What you got?
Maybe because Mahatma Gandhi worshipped Shiva.
You was on it. You were damn like this close to just saying it. Why didn't it work?
Martin Luther King wasn't in the truth.
He wasn't. But why didn't the peaceful protest work? Why didn't the action of a peaceful why wouldn't us picking up guns and going and killing all white people that we can kill work? Why wouldn't it work? Some people do that. Isn't that how some revolutions are won? Didn't America pick up guns against the British? And they went and killed. They fought. They didn't go have tea.
Right.
They went and died and shot guns and put the powder back in there and lined back up and fired and shot, and a whole lot of people died, got shot in the eye and the head and the leg and hearts and all of that. They went and killed it. It worked for them. Why wouldn't it work for us?
It won't work for us because, Gandhi and his ways is not going to get the credit for freeing black folks. That's only going to come from the Most High because he only cares about us. Mm-hmm. So I would say, to that question, because, the Most High,
You on it. You on a doorstep. The Most High what? Stop one.
Is it because the Most High doesn't want us to join with the other nation?
Close. I can't take it. Close. I have to. You close. The Most High doesn't want what? Or not want, but the Most High what?
The Most High doesn't want integration.
Don't think about what the Most High doesn't want,
okay,
or what He does want. Mm-hmm. Think about it like a soldier. Think about it like a soldier who follows orders. Stop one.
The Most High is a man of war.
Mm-hmm.
So a peaceful protest is not going to be how we attain victory.
Think about it like a soldier. You thinking about it right now like a diplomat. Like you trying to make sense of it. Like I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you without giving it to you, but you're gonna get it after this, right? If the Lord said to have a peaceful protest, it would have worked. Right. If the Lord said to pick up guns and go kill them all, it would have worked. Right. If the Lord said go get all the crack and get high as hell and sleep, it worked. If the Lord said take lamb's blood and splash it across your door, right, it worked. But why didn't this peaceful protest work?
Because the Most High didn't give the order.
The Lord didn't ordain this peaceful protest.
Right.
He didn't tell us to peacefully protest against our oppressors to get up out of hell, to get them to stop killing us. That's not what He told us to do. Right. You understand? The Lord told us what? He said, be ye therefore separate. He said, be holy unto Himself, to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, man, to love thy neighbor as thyself, and to love the Lord with all thy heart. That's what the Lord told us to do. That's how He said we'll get out of this hell. So it didn't matter what Martin Luther King said. It didn't matter what he said, because he went against what the Lord said while holding this book in his hand. You understand? Which is why the peaceful protest would never work. Which is why, read 14 and 12 again.
Kana one Khan.
Mm-hmm.
Lakia, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 12. Mm-hmm. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, mm-hmm, but the end thereof are the ways of death.
Meaning what? You think that this way is correct. You looked at Mahatma Gandhi and you said, oh man, that seems right. It seems peaceful. Thou shalt not kill, right? So that must mean we should just go and get killed. That must mean we should just go and get our dog sicked on us. That must mean that. Turn the other cheek, right? That means we should go and get beat up and then get the other side of our face beat up, right? That seems right. Take our children out there, 13 years old. We should take them out there to go get beat up, right? You understand? All of it was nonsense because the Lord never taught us to do that.
Right.
The Lord of this Bible, you understand, never taught us to do what Martin Luther King made us to do, which is why Martin Luther King failed, which is why Martin Luther King again said this.
Some of the old optimism.
Some of the old optimism. That I have a dream. I have a dream. The optimism that he had. Right? Hold on.
Many more difficult days ahead. And some of the old optimism was a little superficial. And now it must be tempered with a solid realism. And I think the realistic fact is
that it didn't come from the Lord in the first place.
Right. Yeah,
so it'll never work. That is the realism of it all. You understand? And that is why Martin Luther King's peaceful protest would never work.
Right.
And so, who is Martin Luther King for black people? You understand? Who has Martin Luther King become for black people? Who is he? Is he just solely a civil rights leader? Is that all he is? If he's not, let me know why. Kowal, would you say he's just a civil rights leader?
I would say
For black people.
for black people, how they look at him, like he's more than just a civil rights leader. He's like a god almost.
He is a god. Martin Luther King is absolutely a god to black people. You understand? How do you know? It's actually funny. It just dawned on me. I've never seen a statue of Jesus Christ in America. But I've damn sure seen a statue of Martin Luther King.
Right.
that just dawned on me like what the hell? Like y'all supposed to love Jesus so much.
God.
I've never seen a statue of Jesus Christ. I've seen the one I think it's in Rio
It's in
somewhere,
Brazil.
but that's in goddamn South America.
Right.
I've never seen this. Is the richest country on the planet Earth, and this country is Christian. I've never seen a statue of
Caesar
Borgia,
Right.
Jesus Christ. You seen the Statue of Liberty though.
Right.
You seen her. You seen Abraham Lincoln though. You seen him. You seen the monuments though. You seen that. What should let you know what America actually believes in.
That's right.
You understand? What you got, Thabo?
I was gonna say you right. I've never seen. I mean, not that I can recall a statue of Caesar, but is so-called Jesus Christ. We know he's not really Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never seen that. I have seen plenty of statues of so-called Mother Mary. You know what I'm saying, like from the Catholic Church. And there's a statue of Martin Luther King probably in every major city. We know DC got the 50-foot tall one.
Right.
We got one here. I bring it out of camp. We got one literally blocks away from the camp spot on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
Yeah, and every city
in
damn
Raleigh.
sure got a Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. We don't never got no Jesus Christ Street.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I live on 25th and Christian Ave. You understand? Like, I don't never hear that.
Right.
What you got?
Let's have you bring that out. I remember being a child, and in church, there were, the fans during the summer, you wave in your face. The sisters, the deaconesses, whatever you want to call it, ushers, will hand out these fans that you wave in your face. It was white Jesus on a fan, and it was Martin Luther King.
Let me
On the
guess.
fans.
John F. Kennedy was the one handing it to you.
Right.
Oh, right.
You understand that? That's who they got on their wall.
Yeah.
White Jesus, John F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King.
Right.
And now Barack Obama.
Right.
You understand? Barack Obama is now the fourth god of America.
Right.
You understand? When it's all just a bunch of nonsense. Barack Obama not even black.
Damn right.
You understand? Did nothing for black people whatsoever. Yeah, I will I'll give you $1,000 right now. You tell me what Barack Obama did for black people.
Right.
Then you better not say he liberated LBGT gay rights. I'ma smack you in your face if you say that. He did do that. He was on board with Martin Luther King with that one. You understand? He did liberate or make a gay rights marriage and all of that legal. But other than that, he did nothing. Same thing with Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King did not give us life. He gave us death. And he said it. You understand? He said it himself. Let me see if there's any more on this. Anybody? You had your hand up? Okay, no sweat. Let me see if there's any
We
more.
still have a long, long way to go, and that we are involved in a war on Asian soil, which, if not checked and stopped, and poison the very soul of our nation. I'm not going to say that all of our problems will be solved if the war in Vietnam is ended, but
There's a part I want to get
that the
in what
war
Martin Luther
makes it
King said.
infinitely more
You
difficult
understand?
to deal with these problems.
A lot of us,
When a nation becomes obsessed with the guns of war,
want to honor Martin Luther King and love on Martin Luther King, but we don't even know what Martin Luther King said himself. So just pay close attention to what he's going to say.
history, so that we do face many more difficulties as a result of the war. It's much more difficult to really arouse a conscience during a time.
Let me try to get to it.
That the conscience, it strengthens the fort is that we got our gains over the last 12 years at bargain rate, so to speak.
Hold on,
It didn't cost the nation anything.
this is what I want. This is what I want right here. Now remember Martin Luther King's dream. Remember what you looked to him for. You looked to him for life. You looked to him for freedom and equality and happiness and love and prosperity. This is what you looked at Martin Luther King from. And he already said in this video that the optimism that I had to be tempered because of reality. And reality was that what I was teaching was not going to work. And it was nonsense from the jump. and we should never did that. That's what he was saying. So now let's see what he says about America, right?
The forces of reaction, and it brings into being bitterness and hatred and violence. I think the biggest problem now is
listen to this.
We got our gains over the last 12 years at bargain rates, so to speak.
We got our gains at bargain rates, meaning we got a little bit of here, and guess what? It was cheap. It didn't cost America anything. It didn't cost American lives to allow us to drink out of a goddamn water fountain that was already there. It didn't cost Americans more money to let us ride on the bus with them. It didn't cost them more money to eat in a restaurant with them. What did it do? I'll let him finish, and then I'll ask the question again.
It didn't cost the nation anything. In fact, it helped the economic side of the nation.
He just said it. It helped them. How did it help them? When you have restaurants who are whites only,
Right.
and restaurants want to make money. And so they're looking at their whites only bar, and they're looking at the white people inside their bar, and they're serving them, and then they're looking at all those hungry souls of black niggas outside who got that money in their pocket, who got that money, who want to come in here and spend that money in my restaurant. But when they allowed them in there, who did help?
It helped the white, what was once the whites only restaurants, because it increased their pool of customers. They literally had access to an entire market before they didn't.
They got white people money, white women money,
Right.
nigger people
Right.
money, nigger women money, gay man money, gay woman money,
Right.
Asian man money, Asian woman money.
That's right.
Mexican man money, Mexican woman money.
That's right.
Native American Indian money,
That's right.
liberal money, Democratic money,
Right.
Republican money,
Right.
Christian money, Islamic money, Buddhist money. They got all of the money.
Right.
And so it built your IHOP. It built your Chuck E. Cheese and your Golden Corral and your Cookout and your McDonald's and your Burger King and your Starbucks. You so mad at we about to boycott Starbucks because they kicking us out for using the bathroom and this, that, and the third. Well, you built Starbucks.
Right.
You built it. You understand? You allowed Starbucks to grow. Why? Because you listened to old Orgy Mike. You listened to old Martin Luther King and his fool behind. You understand? His nonsense, his asinine demise of a leadership that he wanted us to go and join the so-called white man. Right. He wanted us to go and be with him. You built the Starbucks, you idiot. Right. You fool. Your great-grandmother with Martin Luther King on her wall is a fool following a fool. Right. You understand? You yesterday posting Martin Luther King as your savior is a fool. You're a goddamn idiot. Right. You have no idea who Martin Luther King is, yet you posted him. You did it. Right. You watching the live right now, your simple behind, you posted Martin Luther King Day. Happy birthday. What he fought for. You a goddamn idiot. Right. You don't know who. What if I told you right now Martin Luther King was a goddamn child molester? Right. What would you say? Right. What if I told you right now he was a rapist? He was a convicted murderer. He was a blood. What would you say? You wouldn't know what to say because you don't even know who it is you posting. Right. You have no idea the man that you are posting. Right. Let me tell you something. He wasn't a child molester, nor was he a blood. But he was a rapist. Right. He was a sexual deviant. Right. He was a liar and a goddamn sellout and an adulterer on his wife. Right. He was all of those things. You understand? And he was the worst thing for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians to ever listen to. He was that. Right. And you're posting him. You're posting him and mad at Hitler. You mad at, hey, look, I applaud Hitler. I applaud Hitler for one thing. Right. Applaud Hitler wasn't even no goddamn cheater. Hitler wasn't even no goddamn drunk. Right. They did I remember when I first went to class one day, they did some test where they wrote 3 characteristics of 3 different people, but they didn't tell you the name. And they was like, now pick who you would want to be your president just off the characteristics. And of course, everyone picked this one person. Mm-hmm. And that person was Hitler. And everything about it was true about Hitler. He wasn't a drunkard. He didn't cheat on his wife. He was a good Christian or religious man, whatever, and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. And it made sense to pick him. Right. But here we are in America. We pick Martin Luther King based off of the name and the propaganda that America pushes Martin Luther King to have. Right. Yet we don't know what he is. We don't know who he is or what he has done to blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Right. And yet we love him. Right. Yet we love him. Yet we cherish him. You understand? Well, you stick around today. We're going to go into the archive. We're going to go into the FBI messages. We're going to go into the archives and the databases, and we're going to see what Martin Luther King truly was. Right. You understand? We've already brought out that he was a fool. And he didn't even believe in his own protest, in his own march before he died, right? We're going to get a little bit more before we end this.
They integrate lunch counters and public accommodation.
Hold on, right here.
In fact, it helped the economic side of the nation.
It helped the economics.
Lunch counters and public accommodations. It didn't cost the nation anything to get the right to vote established. Now we are confronting issues that cannot be solved without costing the nation billions of dollars. Now,
1 second. Those who is online on Instagram, I'm about to end the live, but I'm gonna jump it right back up. I'll give you a second to jump back in the live on both of the Instagrams, and then in like 30 seconds, I'm gonna run it back, right? OG Mike. Yeah, it's true. We're gonna get it out today. I'll give him a second to get back in the live. Give me 1 second, right? Anybody online, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, any social media, if you got a question or comment, just type it in the chat. Wait about 5 more seconds. All right, let's go.
Side of the nation to integrate lunch counters and public accommodations. It didn't cost the nation anything to get the right to vote established. Now we are confronting issues that cannot be solved without costing the nation billions of dollars.
Now we're confronting issues that can't be solved without costing you something. He said that, hey, remember in the beginning of this video, he said that I had a dream that has turned into a nightmare. And my optimism, he said, I'm not the type of person to lose hope, right, but my optimism had to be rendered by reality, because reality was that we were getting our gains by a bargain, meaning it didn't cost the nation. When he says the nation, he means America. It didn't cost America anything to let us sit in the restaurants or to let us ride on the public transportation or to let us vote. It didn't cost America anything. And matter of fact, this is all what he said. As a matter of fact, it boosted the economics of the nation. It helped them get richer. And he said, but now we are stuck fighting against something that will actually cost America billions. It will cost them something. You understand? This is the fight that Martin Luther King saw 11 months before he died, right?
I think this is where we're getting our greatest resistance.
This mic? Con. I think it's right here. I'll start it back again from where he was talking about the economics.
We are confronting issues that cannot be solved without costing the nation billions of dollars. Now, I think this is where we're getting our greatest resistance. They may put it on many other things, but we can't get rid of slums and poverty without it costing the nation something.
He said this is where we're getting our greatest what? Resistance. This is where our greatest fight. Our fight for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians in America, and our fight for justice and equal equality, is the greatest fight is coming from where our oppressor actually gives us something. Right. You understand? Our fight is not to be Christian and to get a clean shaven face and to go and shave your head bald and put a suit and tie and go inside of some college and be some half a homosexual and look good for white people. That doesn't cost America anything. Right. You can do that for you do it at your own expense. Right. You understand? You do it for yourself. Doesn't cost us anything. But to not live poor in the ghettos. But to not be high off drugs. But to not have drugs pushed in our communities. But to not have guns pushed in our communities. But to not have propaganda pushed on our radio waves, on our TV shows. But to not have the lies spread unto us. That will cost America something. It'll cost them a great deed. And this is where we're getting our only fight. Let me tell you something. This is the only fight. Right. There was never a fight to allow you to sit inside of some restaurant. There wasn't no fight. Let me tell you what the fight was, or what you think the fight was. The fight about you sitting in a restaurant that was white owned had nothing to do with you against the white owner. It had everything to do with whites against whites. Because on one hand, you have white people who didn't own the restaurant. And on the other hand, you had white people who owned the restaurants and the corporations and the businesses. And these white people wanted to make the money. But these white people didn't. And they had to delegate on whether or not you would be able to give them money or not. It has nothing to do with you. You have no power here in America. Your voice was never heard. How do you know? Donald Trump got elected. Right. Donald Trump got elected. And guess what? Who won the popular vote? Hillary. Hillary won the popular vote. Right. So your voice was never, nobody gives a damn about what you said. You black people and poor white people, you went out and said, vote Hillary. Right. Hillary's who we want. Yeah, we won. It's the majority of us. It's all of us mostly. They don't give a damn about what you got to say. They never gave a damn about what you say because it has nothing to do with you. Right. But of course, we believe in the propaganda that they pushed, and so we vote for Hillary. Same way we vote for Joe Biden, as if it makes a difference. Right. You understand? The problem that I have with our people, with us as black people, and as it pertains to black leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all of that, is that we give Martin Luther King so much praise for a failed job. You hate your brother if his prices is too high. Right. You hate your brother if he's not a black people never on time, ain't good for nothing. You hate your own goddamn husband because he plays the video game. Right. You understand? You hate him for whatever old nonsense reason. You hate him, but you love Martin Luther King, and yet he failed you. He didn't do nothing for you. He's saying it right now. 11 months before, this is 11 months, 1 year before he died. He didn't do much else after this. After he said these words, he didn't do much else. Nothing. So before he died, he's telling you that I had a whole lot of optimism, Tabuan and Kowal, but you know, that had to be kindled because that didn't work. Right. He's telling you what I did didn't work. All the people who got arrested, right. All the people who got dogs sicked on them and bit and sent to the hospital and hosed, all the grandmamas and aunties who got all the stories of marching and all of that, it didn't work. He's telling you it didn't work. As a matter of fact, it helped white people. Right. Right. Yeah. As a matter of fact, it helped our oppressor. Right. It helped them. Good night, man. Hold on. Let's hear it again.
They You may put it on many other things, but we can't get rid of slums and poverty without it costing the nation something. I feel that nonviolence is really the only way that we can follow.
Read Proverbs 14 and 12.
Martin
Luther King said that he feels that nonviolence is really the only way. This is what he felt. We can't hate him for that. He felt this way. This is what he felt. Number one, he went to sleep in his heart. He laid next to Coretta Scott King, and he talked to her, and he said, baby, this is just how I feel. And then he woke up that morning, he put on his cologne, and he put on this nice suit, and he went to this church, and he told this white man holding his mic, he said, but I feel that nonviolence is let's hear it again. Hold on, this is therapeutic.
Nonviolence is really the only way
what?
that we can follow. The nonviolence is really the only way in the nation something.
Hold on.
I feel the nonviolence something. I feel something. I feel I nation something. I feel.
Get what I'm doing there. I feel. You understand? It feels right to him. Read what you got.
Wakana's Book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 12.
Uh-huh.
There is a way which seemeth right unto a man.
Hold on.
I feel the nonviolence is really the only way.
What'd he say? I feel that nonviolence is really the only way. He's in a church. Mind you, he's in a church when he said that. Somebody pulled a scripture. Give me the scripture where it says that, we should peaceful protest to fight against the devil. Or the fight against Satan is to peacefully protest and pick up signs and write on there, we shall live forever, or march on, or we shall overcome. Somebody pull the scripture out. But it don't exist. What you mean? Oh, he's in the church. This supposed to be a pastor. He's supposed to be using the Bible. Right. You telling me you can't pull a scripture that said that we're supposed to peaceful protest? Well, what about what you do? You make signs too, don't you? Yeah. You go out in the street and you teach, don't you? Yeah. Is there a scripture for that? Yeah. Oh, okay, no sweat. I thought so. Right. But find a scripture where it says the peaceful, Black Lives Matter. Find the scripture for it. No? Well, your leader thought.
This is really the only way that we can follow.
He thought it was the only way. He's in the church. He holds the Bible. Read the scripture. What's going on? Sheik, you got a question or a comment?
14 verse 12.
Uh-huh.
There is a way which seemeth right unto a man.
I feel this is the only way, right? Keep going.
But the end thereof are the ways of death.
But the end thereof are the ways of death. There's a funny episode on the Boondocks where Martin Luther King came back to life after all of these years. I would play it, but I think it's inappropriate as hell, right? But he came back, and there's nothing but like twerking and gang banging and murdering and all kinds of just stuff, right, that you see that's bad. And he's walking around like, what have I done? Right. Like, what the hell has happened? Well,
the only way that we can follow.
This is what happened.
This is really the only way. Something. I feel the nonviolence is really the only way. I feel the nonviolence is really the only way. I feel the nonviolence is really the only way.
Read it again.
The book of Proverbs 14, 12. Verse 12. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death.
He said, but I feel that nonviolence is the only way. Let me give it to you straight. The Lord never said that.
That's right.
The Lord never said what Martin Luther King said. He didn't ordain us to follow after Martin Luther King because Martin Luther King did not follow after him. Right. You understand? And that is not the way to beat our oppression, to go and march in some street. You understand? And that goes for today. When you marching for Black Lives Matter and all kinds of LBGTQT and 5PYSZ, all of that, that has nothing to do with the Lord.
Right.
You understand? That has nothing to do with the salvation of blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. You understand? The Lord gave us a way to fight.
Right.
He gave us a way that we'll never lose. You understand? And that's to stop selling drugs. That's to stop killing each other. That's to stop being drug addicts. To stop being liars and thieves and child molesters and homosexuals and pedophiles and prostitutes and strippers and workers of witchcraft. It's to stop being wicked, man. That's the way that we win. And then, you understand, then we would have life.
Right.
Then we could see what it is to live life, man, as the Lord ordained us to live it. Not ordained by Martin Luther King, your God. You understand? Keep going. Or actually, drop that. Let me keep going with this so we could drop this.
The nonviolence is really the only way that we can follow, because violence is just so self-defeating. A riot ends up creating many more problems for the Negro community than it solves. You can, through violence, burn down a building, but you can't establish justice. You can murder a murderer, but you can't murder through violence. You can murder a hater, but you can't murder hate. And what we are trying to get rid of is hate and injustice and all of these other things that continue the long night of man's inhumanity to man.
What's the problem with what he said? Well, we're trying to get rid of his hate. Well, we're trying to get rid of his injustice. What's the problem with it? Well, what he said. I give it to you. He never told you how the hell that's supposed to happen.
Right.
How are you supposed to get rid of hate? You say you can't murder hate. You told me what we can't do.
Right.
But how do we get rid of it? You gonna vote hate out? You gonna vote? You think so many people gonna vote for Joe Biden and they're gonna say Joe Biden is your whatever is president of the United States of America, and all the people who's racist gonna be like, wait, Dan, you know what? Them niggas ain't so bad.
Right.
You know what? Joe Biden in office, he white, but somehow the niggas ain't bad no more. Martin Luther King has led you astray, man. Martin Luther King has led you to be fools. And he said it himself. You understand? For those tuning into the live, he said it himself. Next Martin Luther King, you should not see no picture of Martin Luther King, nothing. Nothing. Right. Because he said it himself that he was wrong for what he taught. So when you go out and say Martin Luther King, he marched for freedom and for peace and for happiness, and he fought for it. He said it out his. Do I have to go back and play it again? Do I need to go back and play it again? I know you came in late. Do you need to hear it? He done heard it.
I heard it.
You didn't.
He had to go to the Nation of Islam, had to pull him to the side to get him there. Right.
So you didn't have to. You didn't post MLK picture for his birthday. He heard it. Most High in Christ. Right. You understand? For anybody else, if I got to go back again, so you don't think that it's just me. You don't think that I'm just hating on Martin Luther King. You hear it from his own mouth. Right. That what he did was wrong. You understand? By joining with our oppressor was going to destroy us, which is why we could never do it, man. Which, read that scripture one more time, and we can drop it.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 12.
Uh-huh.
There is a way which seemeth right unto a man.
This is coming out of your Christian Bible, man. There's a way that seems right. It feels good to your soul. A lot of Martin Luther King worshipers are black women. Right. Black women love Martin Luther King, respectively. Why? Because black women love a respectable kind of guy, a suit and tie kind of guy with a clean cut, clean shaven, who's respectable,
right?
Who doesn't bring upon anger and violence. Why? Because black women are weak.
That's right.
As you should be. You should be weak. You shouldn't want violence and warfare. But this war isn't for you. This war is for those black brothers. And the problem with Martin Luther King is that Martin Luther King made those black brothers to be weak like him. And that will not get us to stop being killed. Right. You understand? Do you realize that we not fighting against somebody lying in bingo games? We not fighting against overpriced gas prices.
Right.
We're not fighting against overpriced bread. We're fighting against Trayvon Martin being slaughtered in the street, man.
Right.
We're fighting against Emmett Till being tortured, man, for a white woman lying on him, saying that he whistled at her and she did not. We're fighting against Sandra Bland being slaughtered, Michael Brown being murdered, Fidel Castile being murdered, George Floyd. We're fighting against murder. It's more than a joke.
Right.
It's more than just something to say. All people are dying, man.
That's right.
It's not a goddamn joke. It's not a joke. This is not a time to be worshiping behind some old MLK who failed black people.
Right.
He failed you.
That's right.
You're still dying in the streets, man. It's time to move on.
That's right.
It's time to move on. And the American presidency, he gets 4 to 8 years, and then America does what? They move the hell on, man.
Right.
So why the hell are you stuck on Martin Luther King? Why the hell are you stuck on these so-called great leaders who have passed, who have outlived the time of their age and have died, man, and did not do nothing for you? Jesse Jackson didn't do a damn thing for you. I mean, when I was coming up, I was raised in some African school, and they loved the hell out of Ben Carson. I remember the first time I heard about Ben Carson. They're like, Ben Carson, he's a god. He's a math. He was born poor.
Right.
He used to go outside and get beat up and came inside and started reading books.
Right.
He read the books. He became great in the books and became this and a mathematician and a brain surgeon. He built a rocket ship and all of that. He went to the moon, for God's sakes. And I'm like, God damn, that Benjamin Carson seems like a great ass nigga. And I'm looking at him like that's the nigga to be. Now look at him. Now look at him. Now is there a Ben Carson day? Black people loving on Ben Carson? Why not?
Right.
He was great. He was awesome, man. Let me tell you something. The people who was pushed as being great in America are products of a victor of a war. They are what your enemy used against you. And because they win, they get the name. They get the notoriety. They get the goddamn statue. Christ didn't let all oppressor win. That's why there's no statue of Christ in America. It's bigger than Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King let all oppressor win. And so he gets the statue. Benjamin Carson let all oppressor win. So he gets the seat.
Right.
Jesse Jackson let all oppressor win and beat us and destroy us. So he gets the seat. Creflo Dollar let all oppressor win and beat us and destroy us. So Creflo Dollar gets a seat. T.D. Jakes let all oppressor destroy us. So he gets a seat.
Right.
Our oppressor is the one who pushes you. How do you know? You look at Colin Kaepernick. Does Colin Kaepernick get praised for going against our oppressor? No. He gets demonized for going against our oppressor. He doesn't get a seat. Tom Brady sure does, though.
Right.
All of the black celebrities who go with 50 Cent does. What's the other one? The dumbass Salakia, the Mexican boy. Not 6ix9ine, but the other retarded one. The rapper. He went against J. Cole. Lil Pump. Lil Pump siding with Donald Trump. He gets a seat.
Right.
Kanye West. He gets a seat.
Right.
Because they sided with our oppressor, with Martin Luther King.
Right.
You understand? They ain't no Malcolm X day. Malcolm X, in my book, won't no good for black people either because he was wrong too. But I will say Malcolm X, he didn't side with our oppressor. And he ain't getting no seat. There ain't no statue of Malcolm X.
Right.
Ain't no statue of Malcolm X next to Nat Turner. Ain't no statue of them. Nat Turner got turned into goddamn wagon grease.
Right.
That's what Nat Turner got.
Right.
When Martin Luther King died, he got a 54-foot statue in D.C. He got streets all across. You can't go to a goddamn city without a Martin Luther Street, whatever. Right. Martin Luther King Parkway or Drive or whatever. Because our oppressor loved Martin Luther King. But our oppressor hates us. Right. So how do you think that they love him? Tabuan.
So like I was just going to say, the only monument of Malcolm X is that they changed Lily Ave to Malcolm X Boulevard in Harlem. But they did that like 30 years after he died, something like that, 25 years after he died, and it's only codenamed. So it's still Lily Ave, but part of it is called Malcolm X Boulevard.
There's a Martin Luther King everywhere. Everywhere. There's a 54-foot statue of Martin Luther King. This place is supposed to love Jesus Christ. you got a fat. I've never even thought about this until tonight. This place is supposed to love Jesus Christ. And there's a statue of Martin Luther King in America bigger than any statue. Can any of you ever even think of a time you've seen a statue of Jesus Christ anywhere other than in America? Brother, that should show you who we're dealing with. That they call him God. You imagine? They think that Jesus is God, and they still don't have a statue. They have a statue of Michael Jordan bigger than they got Jesus Christ. Right. They just built a statue in Chicago, Walter Payton bigger than. They have a statue of a WNBA player now in South Carolina bigger than Jesus Christ statue. What you got, Tabuan?
A statue of a fictional boxer named Rocky Balboa.
Right. They got a statue. Give him a hand. I forgot about that. They have a statue of a fictional boxer. Sylvester Stallone, the Italian stallion. He was not real for you idiots who thought he was a real boxer. He did not do Golden Gloves. He did not fight. This nigga, he was in every fight movie though. This nigga was Rambo, and he was the Italian stallion in Rocky. And Rocky, what was it? 1 through 5, 1 through 4, 1 through 8. It's 8 of them.
It's 5.
Are you adding the new ones that came out?
Well, yeah, it was 5, and then there was Rocky Balboa, and then one point now it's Creed. So really, with him, it's like 6 or 7. Right.
He must be more famous than Christ, because they damn sure got a statue of him.
Right.
Damn sure, and they implemented it in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, brother, that is the person that we dealing with. You understand? But back to Martin Luther King. Go to give me Exodus chapter 32 and verse 7. Right, we're gonna show you what Martin Luther King represents. For time's sake, we're gonna get into it. Who Martin Luther King really is and what he is for black people. For all of you who posted Martin Luther King Day and Happy MLK Day, Salaki to those on Twitter. My bad on Twitter, man. I'm gonna stay up on this. My bad. Brother said he didn't destroy black people, but he was about integration, and you're right because of that. It did mess up black community. That destroyed us, but no sweat. But if we were African American, then why don't we go to Africa where our ancestors came from? We can go to Africa and make her great again. Brother trying to make me, hey, look, let me tell you something. Africa is great, They are great over there, man. They got the money, they got the oil. I don't know who they allowing to run them and all of that stuff. I ain't getting into their politics. I don't even get mines over here. China, what else? I think all kinds of. Yeah. What do they call it? The blood diamonds and stuff like that. Right. I was thinking. I'm like, yo, I kind of I had a weird dream because my mom. I always bring this up, man. It's like your mom if you hear this, man. But good night. My mom was married to a heathen, man. She married to a Hamite. And I had a dream because I always wanted to either go on one or two businesses. I either wanted to do like car rentals, like have like mad Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces, right, and like, let people come and rent my cars. Or I wanted to sell jewelry. Like I wanted to have a jewelry store. And I was thinking, I'm like, yo, I wonder if this nigga can go back to Nigeria and like just start digging and bring me back like some diamonds or something on the airport. That'll be the start of it right there. I get to learn how to place diamonds and mold silver and all of that stuff. I'm in business. You understand? But of course he can't, right, because his Nigeria, he gonna have to be control. There's they controlling that already, right? So I don't know who the hell running Africa. I'm not going over there to fight against them. Like, you crazy? Right. You seen them toy soldiers out? Right. Them boys 10 years old with an AK will blow your head off. Like in Sierra Leone, you better stop playing. And you mustn't ain't seen Hotel Rwanda. I mean Rwanda. That scarred me for life. I ain't never going over there. I seen the Hutus versus the Tutsis. I'm like, what the fuck? The Tutsi. They got more than Rwanda. Man, hell no.
You never seen one on Netflix?
Which one?
Beast of No Nation?
Nah, man.
Watch
What you call it?
Beast of No Nation.
Beast of No Nation.
It just out with
Good night. Yeah, them movies right there made me say the hell with Africa. We got too many problems over here. I'm not gonna go. At least over here, I'm gonna goddamn have a court case and a funeral or something. Somebody gonna find my body or something like that over there. You're done. They gonna eat you. This is over for. They gonna eat you for dinner the next day after they kill you. Now going over there making them great. They great. Hey, look, to all of them Hutus and Tutsis or whatever, y'all great. Leave me the hell alone. You understand? But to answer your question, we not or Brother Ray Green said Black Diamond. Was that another movie? Black Diamond's another one. I know it was some blood and diamond. They got a whole lot of African movies where it's about diamonds and stuff like that. But yeah, that was one of our dreams. But for the brother, yeah, we not African. He had them kids on coke. Yeah, of course. Oh, and a matter of fact, how can I forget? You got fake Hebrew Israelite groups teaming up with a general from over there. What? General Butt Naked?
Joshua Blahi is the real name.
Joshua what?
Joshua Blahi.
We gonna call him General Butt Naked for the live's sake. General Butt Naked, you understand? Killing, murdering, all of that. Man, I ain't messing with him. I ain't going over there. I'm gonna stay over here with the Day and Daquan and these niggas over here. I'd rather die by their gun than to die by a machete. Good night, brother. I seen some stuff. If you was like me, you got a sick brain, you got a sick mind, a halfway sick mind, and you know what Gorgrish is. Gorgrish.com. That's where they like. Salaki, let me get off of that. That's some real intimate killings. You understand? You don't want to go there. Right. That's romantic as all hell. Where you got? You got me verse 7 up?
Kind of one concert. Mm-hmm. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 32, in verse 7.
This is where Israelites came out of Egypt. I'm gonna give you the backdrop. Salakia. I almost said Moses lights, which is it's funny because that's about to pertain to this topic. But the Israelites came out of Egypt. Moses went up into the mountain for 40 days, but of course they didn't know how long he was gonna be up into the mountain. And after a time, they became fearful because they were running out of food or what so have you. And so they sought to create other gods to the Egyptians so that they could come back, right? This is what Martin Luther King will represent today, right? Read what you got.
Khan Wakan. Mm-hmm. And the Lord, Salakia, and the Most High said unto Moses, Go get thee down, for thy people, which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt, have corrupted themselves.
Meaning they built the golden calf, right? Keep going.
Verse 8. They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten calf and have worshipped it and have sacrificed thereunto and said, These be thy gods.
These be thy gods. Of what?
These be thy gods, O Israel.
O Israel. So we came, remember, think about it in what we talking about with Martin Luther King. Before Martin Luther King, we were living we was living good, right? We had our own businesses, we had our own communities, we had our own airports, we had our own banks, we had everything that we had. After Martin Luther King, we lost it. But what is Martin Luther King in this scripture? Who is he? What does Martin Luther King represent? The what? Somebody said it?
The molten calf.
He represents the golden calf, right? Why? Because why did we make the golden calf? Why is there even a mention of a golden calf? What is the point of a golden calf? Why did they even think to make a golden calf? Why would they even want to make a golden calf? If it was just in their brain, why would they even want to make it? They seen that this power took them out of Egypt. Why did they want to make the golden calf? Remember, they wanted to go back. This should give you some hindsight. They wanted to go back to Egypt. They wanted to go back to Pharaoh and live back in Egypt and get EBT and food stamps and live with the white man or the African, the Egyptian, right? Top one.
Would it be because the Egyptians worshipped the calf,
Right.
and so they wanted to show the Egyptians that their allegiance was with them and not with whoever actually had taken them out of Egypt.
Right. Because the Egyptians worshiped that calf. And so, if the Egyptians worship the calf and our oppressor worships Martin Luther King, to show that you're with your oppressor, who do you have to worship? You have to post a Martin Luther King picture.
Right.
You have to post it to show all of your oppressors that you're just like him.
Right.
To show all of your oppressors you're not like Nat Turner. No, you're not like him. You don't have that hate in your heart. You don't have that vengeance in your heart like Nat Turner had. You don't have the justice in your heart that under Commander General Yohana, the Isupk has.
That's right.
You don't have it in your heart. You're not in a cult. You're not in that cult with those niggas with those black boots on and black pants and black shirt wearing all black.
Right.
You're not like them. You understand? Let me tell you something. Sooner or later, when you come into this truth, you can't hide it. You can't hide it. You can't love Martin Luther King and be in this truth. It's impossible.
Right.
You understand? I found that out very quickly. You understand? I found that out when in talking to women. In talking to women, I found out that there is no effing possible way to hide that you're in the truth. Not that I even was trying to hide it, but for the simple fact that I don't even mean to mention it. I don't even mean to bring it up. Sometimes, right? And there's no way to hide it because we cannot stand for what our oppressor is doing to us. And the only way to be validated in America is to stand with what your oppressor is doing to you. And so how do you do it? You have to say, well, I'm with Christmas. I'm with that. I'm with Halloween or, or what? I'm not against it. I don't necessarily, I'm not homosexual, but I'm not against it. Every man do what he wants to do. Let him live his life. I'm not against it as long as he don't touch me.
Right.
I'm not against it. I don't agree with Islam, but I'm not against it. I'm not against Christianity. Every man believe what he want to believe. I'm not against it. Well, in here, we're against everything. So you take that woman on a date. She's like, yeah, I'm going to the LBGT meeting tomorrow. You got to say, ugh. And she's like, well, why'd you do that? And you're like, damn, I messed up. I messed up. You understand? Well, I just don't agree with homosexuality. Well, why you don't agree with it? Because it goes against the Lord. Oh. Well, do you smoke weed? No. Really? What about getting tattoos? I see you get tattoos. I don't get tattoos no more. Really? Well, when's your birthday? I don't celebrate my birthday. God damn, stop. Shut up. Shut up. Before I have to tell you that I'm in a cult. And I hate white people. And they're going to die in slavery in hell, man. You understand? I can't hide it. Shut up. You can't hide it, man. But for those who want to hide it, they have to agree with Martin Luther King. They got to post a picture so America can look at them and say, well, he's not one of the bad ones. He's not one of the ones like Nat Turner who will rebel against America. He's not one of them. You understand? So you post happy birthday MLK even though he was the worst thing that happened to black people. Right. You understand? Nat Turner would have never posted MLK. Yeah. He would have never posted him. And of course, no brother in the Isupk will ever post Orgy Mike. I'm going to give him his correct name from now on until we finish this out. But Orgy Mike, he was that molten calf, right? Keep going, all right? We're going to go through this real quick. Let's go.
Kind of Wakana's book of Exodus, chapter 32 and verse 8. At the bottom. Which have, Salakia, these be thy gods, O Israel, which have brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. Verse 9. And the Most High said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people.
The Lord said, I've seen these people. They are stiff-necked people. These brothers and sisters on live on the Instagram, they just heard Martin Luther King out his own goddamn mouth say that he was wrong for what he taught. But they are stiff-necked people. Next year, they'll post Martin Luther King's birthday again. Right. You understand? Even though he failed. As if they're giving honor to Martin Luther King. Right? Keep going.
Come on, verse 10. Now, therefore, let me alone, that my wrath may wax hot against them. And that I may consume them. And I will make of thee a great nation. Verse 11.
So the Lord said to Moses, I'm going to kill all of them. Right. I'm going to kill all of them, and I'm going to start a new grade. I'm going to still have my chosen people, but I'm going to have them with you. I'm going to call them the Mosesites. Right. That's what they would have been called. The Mosesites. We would have been the generation of Mosesites, who was God's chosen people, not the Israelites coming from Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel after he fought with the angel. We would have been the Mosesites. You understand? Why? Because we made a golden calf to give honor and to give glory to a dead thing. The same way you go to D.C. and you look at some goddamn 54-foot statue is a dead thing, man. Right. It does not hold no power in it. Right. But you go and you marvel at it. And you look at pictures of old. Half of you who look at the goddamn picture is nowhere near time to being alive during the civil rights movement. But yet you love Martin Luther King so much. For what? Right. For what? All you've known was poor. All you known was death. All you known was violence. All you known was homosexuality. All you known was sin. All you know was bad things. And yet somebody tell you about some great man who lived before you. How great was he? How great was he, man? When your life is still in hell. When you're still living in poverty. When you're still having to light up tissue papers and put it on the burner so that your stovetop can cut on. That's still your life. Right. But yet you love Martin Luther King as if he succeeded, man. He didn't succeed. Right. He didn't succeed. He failed and he said it out his own mouth. It's a dead thing. Let him die. Right. Let him die. Let his history be that he tried to fight for black people, but he failed because he went against the Lord. And that's that. Right. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. Ain't nothing else. Ain't nothing else to it. He failed because he went against the Lord. He didn't change you as a person. He didn't tell you to stop selling drugs. He didn't tell you to love your people and your people first. He didn't tell you to love that black woman in that house. He didn't tell that black woman to love that black man and stay with her husband in that house. He didn't tell you that. He told you to love that white woman, to love that white restaurant, to love that white hotel, to love the white bus, to sit up in the front seat with them. That's what he told you. And in return, you started to hate each other. You started to hate one another. Why? Because you would fight. You would fight and you would die to drink out the white water fountain. You would fight and you would die to eat out the white restaurant. Why? Because with the floodgates open to black, Hispanic, LGBT, gay, homosexual dollars going into every goddamn restaurant in America, you changed IHOP into a goddamn Benihana's, man. Right. You changed it into a Morgan Steakhouse. You changed it into every goddamn restaurant that the poor of our community can't even afford to sit on the stoop of. Right. You changed it into it because you love them more than you loved yourself. Following after this stinking orgy Mike, man. Right. Instead of making your own goddamn restaurant. Yeah, right. Instead of cooking your own goddamn pancakes. Yeah, right. Making your own public transportation. Teaching your own children, educating your own children. You trusted in him and destroyed your own, man. Yeah, right. You're going to tell me that we're supposed to celebrate Martin Luther King Day. For what? Right. For what? I'm going to go out and get fireworks and get a grill on and cook out like it's the 4th of July. No, white people have a reason to celebrate the 4th of July. They have a reason because they won. They have a reason to remember 9/11 because they won. They have a reason to remember Thanksgiving because they won. They have a reason to remember Christmas because they won. They have a reason to remember Halloween because they won. That's right. We lose every goddamn day. What the hell are we remembering? What the hell is there to celebrate? What the hell is there to be happy about?
Some man who couldn't get over his lust of white women.
Right.
Some man who couldn't stop raping women, having sex orgy parties of all hell with women. Who fed us to our oppressor, man? Who brought us closer to our oppressor? Who taught us to love them more than we loved ourselves?
Right.
That's that golden calf. You worship a dead thing. You gave honor and glory to somebody who can't even receive it.
Right.
Who are you posting the pictures for Martin Luther King for? He's dead.
Right.
He cannot see the pictures. He's gone. You're posting it for your oppressor.
That's right.
Your oppressor sees it.
Yep.
He's seeing the pictures you post. He's seeing the comments you make, the tweets that you tweet. He's seeing it. And that's who you give glory to. You understand? Drop that. Give me Slaggy for the time's sake. Give me Wisdom of Solomon. Give me Wisdom of Solomon chapter 14 and verse 14. Malcolm X did though when he was a Muslim. Malcolm X did what? You understand? Malcolm X did. I in my heart solely believe that Malcolm X did care for black people. How do I know? Because Malcolm X left that poison he called Islam.
Right.
He left it. You understand? Malcolm X ended up Malcolm X's career ended in confusion. He didn't know what the hell to believe.
Right.
Malcolm X left. He went over to the Middle East, and before he went over to the Middle East, he was not for all oppressor. Right. He was not for them, not trying to work with them, not trying to team with them, not trying to talk to them, not trying to do nothing with them.
Right.
Which was correct. Why? Because Malcolm X was not a simple man. He had some kind of intelligence about him that said, every time we join with you, we die. Every time. Malcolm X was betrayed by his own people. Malcolm X was betrayed by his own members in his Islamic religion or his Islamic faith or the Nation of Islam. You understand? He said, I think it was 1964, he had a conference where he said that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was working with the Ku Klux Klan and the Nazis, working together with them. You understand? And that's how they came in power. Malcolm X left it. So you want to speak about Malcolm X? Malcolm X didn't do nothing. He didn't do a damn thing for black people. You understand? He was also following a Middle Eastern god, which is why. What you got, Thabawan?
I was just gonna say he was also a snitch. He turned coat on his whole team at the end and started telling the oppressor, like, oh yeah, they was meeting up with these people and they was doing this, and I was personally in this meeting and in that meeting. Like, well, if you was in that meeting and this meeting, why didn't you say something then? Like, you know what I'm saying? As soon as he was ready to go, then he started to bring up whatever they used to do. You know what I'm saying? So Malcolm X wasn't nobody either.
I know he won't nobody, but Malcolm X was a victim of false leadership.
Right.
You understand? False leadership. And you get false leaderships by false leaders.
That's right.
You understand? Which is why in the ISUBK we got one leader.
Right.
And that's the Most High, man.
Damn right.
You understand? That's the Most High. That's what's in this book. It don't matter. You understand? A lot of fake Israelites, like say, but you worship Commander General Yohana. No, we follow him. But if Commander General Yohana came out tomorrow and said, you eat pork, we'll say, to hell with that order. To hell with that. You unfit for duty, sir. It's time for the next man to stand up. Because you're unfit, because you're not going aligned with what these scriptures say to do.
Right.
And so you can't be the leader. The problem with black people in the past is that we've always looked into a man to see if the truth was in his words and never into this book. You understand? Read what you got, Ak.
This is the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 14.
Uh-huh.
For by the vainglory of men they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end. 15. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning.
So like for the vainglory of men, they entered into the world. Martin Luther King came into the world for vainglory, meaning his glory was in vain. It didn't mean anything, right? And his time shortly. His time shortly came to an end. Keep reading.
When he hath made an image of his child, soon taken away, now honored him as a god.
Now, how do most gods are created? by someone creating it. You understand? You can use the scripture for by all, or you can use it for Christmas. The Nimrod. You understand? Nimrod's mother created this image of Baal of Nimrod in the evergreen tree. Do you understand? To create a god out of it. We look at Martin Luther King and we create a god out of him. Keep going.
Khan Khan, which was then a dead man.
He's what?
A dead man.
He's alive.
Dead man.
He can see all the posts and tweets and Snapchats that you make of him.
Dead man.
Martin Luther King is a dead man. He's not a god. He's not alive. You understand? But there is one power that's alive, and that's the one true living power. That's Yahweh in the Hebrew, man.
That's
the God of heaven and earth, man. He is alive and he is breathing. So who are you giving your glory to? You giving it to Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Jesse Jackson, Barack Obama, or you gonna give your glory to him? You understand? The Most High in Christ. Who are you giving your glory to? Keep going.
Khan Khan. And delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices. 16. Thus, in process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law.
An ungodly custom has grown strong and kept as a law. Martin Luther King Day has become law in America. The goddamn banks are closed. The banks are closed because of Martin Luther King, and he failed black people. And he said it out his own mouth that he failed black people, and the banks are closed because it's become law. Keep going.
Khan. And graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings.
And the graven images are worshipped by the commandments of kings. What is the graven image? MLK in DC, the 54-foot statue.
Right.
Who are the kings? Who are the kings who commanded that we worshiped it? Our oppressor. The ones who beat us. The ones who destroy us commanded that we worship MLK. Why? Because if you go online right now and you say MLK was the worst thing for black people, who will hate you? Everybody. Everybody will hate you. They'll say, well, what the hell is wrong with you? You must not believe in Christ. That's what they'll say. You must not have the Lord in your heart if you going against Martin Luther King. Keep going out before I throw up.
Khan verse 17. Whom men could not honor in presence.
Who could not what?
Honor in presence.
For everyone who posted something on Instagram today, read it again.
Whom men could not honor in presence.
You couldn't honor Martin Luther King. You've never met the nigga.
Right.
You've never met him. You could not honor him in presence because he's dead. He's not here. Nothing you do in MLK's name matters to anybody. It doesn't do anything. Keep going.
Khan. Because they dwelt afar off. They took the counterfeit of his visage.
They took the what?
Counterfeit of his visage.
The counterfeit of his visage. Right? Hold right where you're at. Tapawan, I know we on time, so for time's sake, I'm gonna just read it myself, right? The Jacqueline Kennedy, unless you got a better idea.
I mean, I could run the joint.
I could, it's up to you.
I got it right here.
All right, no sweat. We gonna read what Jacqueline Kennedy said.
Yeah, you got the transcript, right? I got the audio. So you
Con.
run the audio a bit, and then you can read the transcript.
Con, we gonna see what Jacqueline Kennedy said about Martin Luther King.
There was just one girl. They had the conversation. He said, and I said, but Jack, that's so terrible. I mean, that man is, such a phony then. No, this was when there was just one girl. They had the conversation. And Jack said, well, he would never judge anyone in any sort of way. He never really said anything against Martin Luther King. Since then, Bobby's told me of the tapes of these orgies they have and how Martin Luther King made fun of Jack's funeral. He made fun of Cardinal Cushing and said that he was drunk at it. And things about they almost dropped the coffin. Well, I mean, the Martin Luther King is really a tricky person. But I wouldn't know. He never said anything against Martin Luther King to me. So, I don't know if Bobby would be the one to find out what he ever really thought of him in that way. But Bobby told me later, I just can't see a picture of Martin Luther King without thinking, that man's terrible. I know at the time of the
This is Jacqueline Kennedy. In case you didn't hear, I'll read a little bit for you. This is the wife of John F. Kennedy. This is after John F. Kennedy had died, right? And she's coming out and she's spilling the beans of everything because, of course, she felt as if a man's audio history should not be held, right? So she felt all the secrets that John F. Kennedy ever taught her, everything she ever heard from people who had passed on or who was going to pass on soon, she felt the need that she had to come out and just tell it to everybody. And so this is what she said about Martin Luther King. She's quote unquote, I just can't see a picture of Martin Luther King without thinking, you know, that man's terrible. The widowed First Lady told friend and historian author Schlesinger. Jackie O reportedly soared on the civil rights leader after claims he had tried to arrange a sex party while in town for the March on Washington in 1963 and had made derogatory comments during her husband's funeral, ABC News reports. You understand? Like, Salagi. JFK, John F. Kennedy, told me of a tape that the FBI had of Martin Luther King when he was here for the Freedom March. And he said this with no bitterness or anything. How he was calling up these girls and arranging for a party of men and women. He a goddamn homosexual. Good night, Doc. If like having sex with multiple women at one time is against the law and it's disgusting. But if I'm in the world and I have the power and the authority to have more than one woman at one time, I don't want no other nigga in there. Right. I don't want no other nigga in the room. I want it to just be me by myself, right? This man wanted men and women. I'm continuing. I mean, sort of an orgy in the hotel and everything, she said. You understand? And it goes on to talk about, there was another, the day before Martin Luther King, I know they like to push that Martin Luther King was the youngest youngest person to ever receive a Nobel Peace Prize. The day before Martin Luther King received his Nobel Peace Prize, he was found in a hotel lobby out in, where was he at? Norway. He was out in Norway, found in a hotel lobby with a group of his men chasing after Norwegian girls butt naked, running after them. You understand? For time's sake, one of the FBI archives that I have here, you understand? I'm gonna just paraphrase it. It reads that they had microphones plugged into Martin Luther King's hotel, and Martin Luther King and one of his friends, a pastor, I forget the pastor's name. I think it was like the pastor of Maryland or something like that. But a pastor of Martin Luther King had a woman in the room, and the pastor started raping the woman, and the woman screaming for help. And Martin Luther King did not try to stop it. Right. In fact, Martin Luther King laughed, and he told the pastor what to do to better rape the woman, to better rape the girl. You posted a picture of him yesterday. Right. You said you glorified him yesterday. But this is who you glorified, right? Read that part one more time, right?
Kana Wakan. Verse 16. Mm-hmm. Thus, in process of time, an ungodly custom grows, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as law, and graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings, whom men could not honor in presence because they dwelt far off.
Verse 17. Oh, keep going.
Kanawakan. They took the counterfeit of his visage from far.
They did what?
Took the counterfeit of his visage from far.
The reason why you post Martin Luther King Day is because you have the counterfeit version of him. The reason why you love Caesar Borgia is because you have the counterfeit version of him. You have no idea that Caesar Borgia had sex with his sister and murdered his father. Right. You have no idea about that Caesar Borgia. You have no idea about the homosexual, rapist, orgy-loving Michael Luther King. You have no idea about that version of him, but you know the counterfeit version of him. Keep going.
Kanawakan. Mm-hmm. It made an express image of a king.
Of a what?
made an express image of a king.
Of a what?
A king.
A what?
A king.
Martin Luther what?
King.
Uh-huh.
Whom they honored.
Uh-huh.
To the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him that was absent.
That they will do what?
Flatter him that was absent.
They will flatter. You post pictures of Martin Luther King on Instagram as if you would flatter him. As if it's going to mean him any goddamn. Keep going.
That might flatter him that was absent as if he were present.
As if he's here. As if Martin Luther King is alive, right? Keep going.
Come on, verse 18. Also, the singular diligence of the artificer did help to set forward the ignorant to more superstition.
To more superstition. You understand? We said the ignorant to more superstition, man. Of course, we can't be that way in here. We are ordained to follow the Lord in truth, man. So we can't listen to the superstitions of Martin Luther King and his dream and which was really a nightmare. We have to be the brothers and sisters who stand up to the people who don't love Martin Luther King, who don't love what Martin Luther King stood for, who don't love what none of these black civil rights leaders stood for.
Right.
You understand? And we stand for what the Lord stood for. You understand? Because it's better. And when you do it, the world will hate you up. You understand? The world's going to hate you for not celebrating Martin Luther King Day.
Right.
The Lord will hate you for not loving Caesar Borgia. Right. You understand? This is the last one. Give me Matthew chapter 10 and verse 25. We're going to end on this. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, and verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master, and the servant as.
It is enough for the disciple to be as his master. What's that mean? What does it mean for it to be enough as a disciple to be as his master?
It's like what it means, just pretty much it's enough for you to just, like Commander General Hanna, we follow what he does. We follow his lead.
Right.
Or the men over you,
But in this case, who would be our master?
Yahweh Shah.
Christ. It's enough for us to be just like him. It's enough. We don't have to be more than what Christ is. We don't have to have a 54-foot statue in D.C. and Christ don't have a statue at all. It's enough for us to just die and that's it. But we live the life that Christ lived. That should be enough for us. Not get the glory. For all people, you understand, all people disowned Christ. All people forgot about the name of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. But Christ did it anyway. He died anyway and he knew it. Right? Keep going.
Khan, and the servant as his Lord.
And the what?
The servant as his Lord.
Keep going.
If they have called the master of the house of Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household?
How much more shall they call him of his household? You understand? What is that saying? What is Beelzebub?
It's like one of the older words of saying Satan,
Mm-hmm. If they said that your leader's in a cult, if they said that your people's in a cult, your people are nothing. You're nothing but derogatory names and nigga and spick and coon and wetback, and you're in a cult. Then what does that make you? What does it make you?
Right.
It means that you're a cult too.
Right.
So don't hide it. Don't hide it. Don't try to go out here and defend Martin Luther King on the low. Don't go out here and celebrate Christmas on the low.
Right.
Don't go to your mama's house and talk about the love of white people on the low. You don't love them. You understand? And here you are of your father, and that's enough. It's enough to be just like Christ. Yeah. You don't gotta be more. You don't have to be loved by the people of the world. You don't have to be 50 Cent and Kanye West and loved by everybody. You don't have to have that bad woman that's on Instagram who loves you because you teach that you can only have one wife.
Right.
You can have that woman who shuts up and shuts her mouth and cooks and clean and loves you regardless of how many wives you got. Then that's enough. That's enough. You don't have to have Christmas presents and gifts and holy jolly Halloween and Thanksgiving. It should be enough with the Passover. You should have the high holy days where nobody puts gifts under no tree, and it should be enough. It should be enough. Keep going.
Kana Wakan, verse 26. Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed.
There is nothing covered that shall not be revealed. The lies that America tells us will be revealed. Keep going.
Kana Wakan, and hid that shall not be known. What I tell you in darkness.
What I tell you in darkness, this is what you should do. Here we are in this room and we're in darkness. You're sitting in this room and you're listening to my words. We sit in this room and we listen to Commander General Yohana's words. Commander General Yohana learned from the words from the men above him who learned from these words, who learned from these prophets, who then learned from the Lord. What I tell you in darkness, what I call you on the phone, you call for a breakdown from General Mahayman, and General Mahayman gives you the breakdown. You have a question, and you say, but what about this? What about this? What about that? And you get the answer because you're in the truth, and you get the answer, and you get it. You got it now. You got the answer to your question. What about multiple wives? Now you got the answer for multiple wives. What about Christianity? Now you got the answer for Christianity. What about BET? Now you got the answer for BET. Whatever was told to you in darkness, keep reading.
That speak ye in light.
That speak ye in light. You go to camp and you tell everybody. You go to your wife and you tell her. You go to your children and you let her know. You go to them street corners and you tell everybody. You go on Facebook and you post that MLK was the worst thing for black people. Don't give a damn what they say about it. Right. You go on Twitter and you post that MLK was the worst thing for black people. Don't give a damn what they say about it. Right. Because it should be good enough to be just like Christ. And they call Christ, you understand, the house of Beelzebub. Right. They call Christ the house of the devil, man. The house of Satan. They called him that. So who the hell cares when they say you're a cult because you don't go agree with Martin Luther King? Who the hell cares that they say you're a cult because you don't celebrate Christmas and Halloween and Thanksgiving? Who the hell gives a damn? Right. It should be good enough. You take what you learn and you share it. You teach it in the light and tell everyone. Keep going.
Kana Wakan. And what ye hear in the ear.
And what you hear in your ear. What you hear during class. What you hear during the debates. What you hear during lectures. What you hear in your ear. Keep going.
That preach ye upon the house steps.
You tell it to everyone. You post it on TikTok if you got to. You go to your slave and you tell them. When you're in the grocery store and some woman thinks that it's wise enough to hold conversation with you, you tell her that she's a devil or she's God-chosen people. You tell her to. You tell the brother the same. If you're locked up in prison, you tell them the same thing because you heard it. And that should be good enough for you because that is the job that we've been given.
That's right.
You understand? So the hell with Martin Luther King. You go and you tell this world how wicked of a bastard Martin Luther King was for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, man. You understand? Keep going through verse 29. Finish it out.
Kana Wakan, verse 28. The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body.
Fear not them which kill the body. Don't give a damn about them people who could kill your body here on earth. Well, Christ didn't worry about it. Christ didn't worry about that. Nat Turner didn't worry about that. I tell you that. Nat Turner knew the risk, and he didn't give a damn about that. So you shouldn't either. Keep going. Christ didn't give a damn about it, so you shouldn't either. Keep going.
But are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both body, Salaki, which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell.
You should rather fear the Lord. Keep going.
Kana Wakan. Verse 29, are not two sparrows sold for a farthing?
Are not two sparrows sold for a farthing? What is a farthing? It's a farthing.
Was it like a measurement of like a grain or something, wheat or something? Or was it like a...
Close.
Like
that. A farthing, right? For time's sake, a farthing was a currency. A farthing would be the equivalent to a quarter of a penny today. Right, so if you took a penny and divided it by 4, in one corner, 1/25% of that penny would be a farthing, right? So are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing? So 2 sparrows, which are cheap birds, why? Because sparrows don't have meat on them.
Right.
They don't. They have like the little piece of, they have like this much meat in their chest, and that's like all you can eat from a sparrow, and that's it, right? So are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing? Keep going.
And one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father.
Even the cheapest, poorest, most invaluable creature on this earth will not die lest our Father commands it. So why the hell are you scared of this so-called white man?
Right.
Why the hell are you scared of Caesar Borgia? Why the hell are you scared of Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and your family members and religion? Why are you scared of the COVID vaccine? Why are you scared of everything scares you? 2012.
Right.
2012 scared the living death out of you. Why are you scared of everything when not a sparrow would fall from the sky unless our Father commanded it? And with that, I'm going to pass the class over to Priest and Officer Thabawan. Salakia, for the time, I ain't get all the way into it, but just know Martin Luther King was an evil, wicked bastard. Right. You understand? I was going to get into it, but Thabawan, that brother over there, he in the back like, I'm just saying, I'm playing. I'm Salakia.
We are the ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10, means 10th in Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation will be the Feast of Purim, Slakia, that's the 14th day and 15th day of the 12th month. That's Thursday, February 25th and Friday, February 26th this year. You can find that in Esther 9, chapter 9, verse 20 to 31. Of course, the Passover has been announced. Yes, it's going down in Houston, Texas.
The 22nd is the slaughter of the lamb. I didn't know that. So we definitely gonna have to go to that too. You understand? The 22nd slaughter of the lamb.
The 22nd is the slaughter of the lamb. Passover is the 24th.
25th at the opening of the Feast of Unleavened
Bread. The address is at the BH Ranch, 14149 Players Street, Houston, Texas, 77045. Of course, hotel arrangements have been, established. I think the general locked down 3 hotels. Or was it 2?
I don't know. It's some hotels.
It's 2 or 3 hotels that have been completely locked down. Yeah. So you want to, get in contact with your camp leader about, getting a hotel if that's what you're trying to do.
Also, the general already said it's going to be archery, it's going to be fishing, it's going to be horseback riding, all of that stuff. So come prepared for that. You understand? He brought that out yesterday. So.
Most High in Christ. Want to remind Akim and Akwathan to check on social media such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he needs to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, I mod you.